Hello, everyone. As you may already know, my name is Debbie Schirmann. I am co-founder of One Breath Institute. And in this video today, we've tried to go live quite a few times, but the ether is not allowing us to do that today. That is okay. We have backup plans. Today, we are going to be talking about inner presence. Yeah, what inner presence means, how that feels, and maybe even some ways to reconnect and arrive in your inner presence. So with me, as you see, there's another person with me. This is Aysu. She is a breathwork facilitator student of One Breath Institute. She will be graduating in the near future. So excited to have her with us, and she will also be providing some insight in her experiences around the inner presence, what that looks like, how that feels, and some tools that she has. So yeah, Aysu, let's go ahead and unmute yourself and say hello.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah,
Nice to
perfect.
be here with you, Debbie.
Thank you. Thank you. So, okay, so let's take a breath and let's drop in our inner presence. Just a few moments ago, I was noticing and becoming aware that my inner presence was getting a little bit razzled and dazzled by all the complications that we were facing, and taking a couple of breaths, welcoming some movement for myself, and bringing back that entrusting peace. Um, I now feel much, much better. So I have been redefining inner presence almost every day. And really, every time I think of the word, I've been almost redefining it, because I'm really connecting and embodying the word or the words in my life experience. And I guess in a way, I have a mission to be and exist and feel alive within my inner presence more than I currently have in my life. And I've been noticing, as I take time to separate the stressors, to separate historical traumas, to separate just, yeah, what's going on in the senses, and to arrive into my inner presence. This is a place of peace. This is a place of clarity, of harmony, and is a place of all knowing, all loving. And I will even connect it to consciousness. It is my place of consciousness that connects to my authentic self and the collective world around me. So it is a place that is in observation, is stimulated by my external world. I'll just use a metaphor of outside of my body, even though my inner presence is my body, but outside of my body. And yes, so I've been using the breath to connect with my inner presence, and I love it. I love connecting with my inner presence, especially around this time with the holidays, because the holidays are stressful, and it's okay to not be okay. That's going to be our theme next week in One Breath Institute. It's okay to not be okay during the holidays. I'm going to say it now and say it clear. And it is also okay to listen to that inner presence, that inner voice that is saying you need self-care. So I kind of went on and on and on there. And Sue, I'm curious, what comes up for you when I say the words inner presence?
Yes, um, inner presence comes to my mind is like when you said being in peace, being at home, being at home with peace in ourselves. And when I think of inner presence, the central component of presence comes to me as setting an intention, intentionally choosing to be present, and the will to be present and willingness to be. So there is an intention, but with that intention, I also try to raise my attention around that intention because then our my sensations, emotions, and thoughts get into play, and I want to pay attention all together. So this is just this happens in a short time, just a milliseconds when I want to get in that present moment. Um, but it goes away, and then if I'm willing to come back to it, I can do it. So it's a practice for me, and I'm practicing it every day. It's becoming a habit when I do it over and over. And well, in the act of presence, I realize that I become creative, and I create myself, who I want to be in that moment, and how I want to show up. And the other thing is that it requires honesty, that depth of honesty when I feel the emotions, how I see the emotions as they are, as real as they are. So yeah, this is something I'm. It's like a play. I want to see it as a play. I'm playing around it, and after you come out of it and you jump in again, it's kind of fun because yeah, you get creative.
Wow. So I'm stunned. I'm stunned, Isu, truly stunned. There was so much valuable information, and my inner presence was just kind of like reaching and connecting and reaching and just saying, yes, I connect with what you're saying. So I'm going to take a breath. And what really stood out is you mentioned that when you're willing to step into your inner presence. And you also mentioned that when you arrive there, it takes a lot of honesty. Are you willing and do you feel available to speak on anything that arrives when I say those?
Yes, sure. And I also want to add this awareness piece, that it needs for me an effort, a relaxed effort, a gentle push. So come on, be in that state. You can come into that state. And when I feel that when I meditate, I get into it, but I want to keep it after the meditation. And so I check the physical sensations, emotions, like it's a check in.
Yeah, so I'm guessing that's where that honesty piece comes in, is when you're doing the check-in and you're checking in the sensations of your body and the feelings or emotions that arise with that. Well, Isu, you really highlighted some beautiful, beautiful pieces about the inner presence, and you even included a little bit more about the external presence, which is wonderful. So thank you so much for bringing that in. Is there anything more that is lingering that would like to be said about the inner presence for you and what that looks like?
Oh, what does that look like? Well, it arises spontaneously, and when it goes away, I want to come back to it when I get used to it, because I feel more myself when I'm in that moment, and I enjoy the moment, because otherwise, life passes away and you just live it. But hey, what happened? You don't remember your feelings about that moment. So it's nice. What I do often is I keep my meditations, which helps me uh, to come to that moment over and over. So I make a choice to come back to it again and again.
So, what I hear you say is that in times that you've experienced your inner presence leaving, that awareness leaving, that's an unconscious shift. And when you bring your awareness back in and you make the choice, that's your word, make the choice, that is a conscious shift. And you're doing that through meditation right now.
Yes.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So I'm curious, how has conscious connected breath work? Because for those watching, Aysu has a wonderful history, and maybe I should have opened that up. Actually, why don't you go ahead and tell the world about you a little bit, just so that everyone knows your background a little bit more and where you're stemming from.
Well, I'm a yoga practitioner and an instructor and a classical Pilates instructor. And when I started yoga, I loved it very much, and I wanted to do everything. So I wanted to move fast. I want to progress fast. So I was pushing myself to do more and to get to where I want to be. And then I had a low back injury, and after that injury, I realized that I'm not in my body and I'm not doing what my body needs to do, but I'm pushing myself. So that was a big inner presence awareness for me. And then everything changed. And when I started breath work, a lot of things in my life, I realized that I wasn't aware of. And then breath work is the big piece that made it complete, to make me realize what I need to be aware of about myself.
Thank you, Aysu, for sharing that and for sharing the vulnerability and that connection and how you've transitioned from where you began to where you are now. So taking a breath to honor you. And thank you for bringing in the piece about conscious breath work and how it has helped you feel embodied and helped you feel connected to your body, especially after your low back injury, and coming to your presence and your inner presence. And I'm sure the external presence also arose during that time. So we've talked a lot, and with the holidays coming up specifically, do you have any words of wisdom for people who are coming through and watching in the future? Because we're not live. I keep thinking that we're live in the Facebook group, but in the future, do you have any words of wisdom of how you are remaining present and how you are remaining connected to your inner presence throughout the holidays and the stressors around the holidays?
Well, especially during holiday days or weeks, however that may differ from person to person, I think things move faster than usual. So we run to places, we think faster because we want things get done. So I would say just check in with yourself, maybe each hour or each when you're sitting down just for a couple of minutes, just check in how you're feeling in your body physically and emotionally, and just don't judge yourself. That's what I try to do. But it's a work. It's not easy as it sounds.
It's not easy. You're right. And thank you for normalizing it, because we are not alone with those pieces. And I'm sure people who are watching this are connecting with what you're saying completely. So thank you. Thank you for bringing that in. And thank you for reminding everyone that it's totally okay to connect with yourself and your feelings and your emotions and try to do it without judgment. And you mentioned the piece about holiday season, days, weeks. For some reason, my mind was like a whole month, because the truth is, once Halloween starts, my year is over. Like, my year is done. Everything is going so fast. Everything is moving. I just remember it being cold and uh, lots of sugar and just a time of things happening a lot faster. So inviting more grace, inviting more patience, inviting more time and spaciousness is maybe something that I would like to contribute to this conversation for those watching. Yeah, take the time for yourself and whatever that looks like for you in your self-care. Maybe you'll
And
join us on
it's
Sundays for conscious connected breathwork. But go ahead,
yes.
Aysu. What were you saying?
And it's funny, it's not just during those holiday specific days. It starts before, in advance, in the body and in the mind. So to get ready, to make things work, there's a planning in advance. And then you take it after, and then you start for another one. Like you said, yeah, it doesn't end maybe.
No, it really doesn't. Coming down from the peak of one holiday, then you're preparing for the next one. Absolutely. So, yeah, it's like this constant emotion. And really, we can apply that to every day. We're always in preparation. We're always unconsciously moving towards something. We're always consciously focusing, overstressing, overthinking, overdoing. And it may be counterproductive to what's naturally already happening in our natural flow of everyday life. Well, we're getting into other topics, which I feel like we could do a little podcast around many different topics. Aysu, thank you so much for arriving present, for sharing your truth, sharing yourself, and any last lingering thoughts, words that want to say that you
Thank
would like
you
to say?
for having this opportunity for me, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, let's do more. This was very
Yeah,
fun. I really
looking
liked it
forward
too.
to other topics.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much, Aisu. And let's take a breath to close out our space together, and then I will also end the recording. Okay. Thank you, Aisu.
Thank you.